Hi, and welcome to how to customize a branding file using developer tools. So today I want to show you how you can quickly use Chrome, or I think Edge has the same tools available to do some live editing on your responsive branding file. The reason this is useful is because obviously when you're creating your branding file, you're not going to see any of the content that Taleo actually injects into that index HTML. Um, and so it's really hard to create or recreate that experience in a development environment. So it's actually really handy to just upload the branding file you're working on to the career section. I would recommend using staging to begin with, and then using a live career site to edit the branding file live and actually see those changes reflecting live on the site as you're editing. So I've got a basic responsive branding file installed on our demo zone. And as you can see, it's rather basic. We don't really have a footer. We don't really have a header. So this one's really straight from the responsive branding file that Oracle has released. And really the piece that I'm going to do is there's a couple of ways to get to the developer tools. So if you go all the way to the right on your toolbar and you go to the three dots and go to more tools, you can go to developer tools. You can also invoke the same window with Control Shift I. But what I like to do is actually right click on the area that I want to play around with. So for example, if I wanted to see how I could make this logo bigger, all I do is right click on the logo and I click on inspect. You can see it's the same shortcut as bringing up developer tools. So when I hit inspect here, it's actually going to bring up a window. There's a couple of docking options here. So you can have it as a new window. You can have it on the left, the bottom, or the right. I usually prefer either having it as a separate window or to the right. And then you can start seeing how this relates. So here what you'll see is that right away, when I did right click here, it automatically brought up this element that I am editing. So you can see that that's immediately highlighted, and this is the element here. So I don't know where the image is yet, but what if I click down a little bit closer? I believe it's in the header section here. So if I look at the header section, you'll see that in this case, the way the URL is imported is by using a background image. So it's actually a background image in the header section here. And you can move the position. And let's see. So right now we've got XY position. So let's see if we can't do background size. So we'll just add a different, so let's do 150%. Oh, and we definitely don't want that. So the percentage is actually the size of the background. So let's do, what about 15%? We can actually increase that a little bit and just make it a little bit bigger. So you can see how that updates live in the background. So this is actually not what we want to take a look here. But one of the things you could do is move things around and you can actually uncheck and check values here. So one of the things that I like to do is to not put this right into the CSS, but instead attempt to add an element style here separately. So if we do a plus, it'll add a header section, and then it'll actually add this to the inspector style sheet. And if you click on this link here, it will actually take you to that here in the inspector style sheet. This means that you're adding CSS code live as you're inspecting it in the browser. So if I add some additional CSS here, so if I do background size, let's do 10%, and now it's a little bit smaller. And so then what I can simulate is, because the inspector is always going to be fired off last, I can simulate this, adding this to the end of one of the CSS files. Um, so you can pretty much access any of the elements on this page and edit them live. So for example, if I wanted to look at this apply button, I can click inspect on that and it'll go right to the button here. And you can see that the background color is this orange here. So if I wanted to change that to something else, again, I recommend hitting the plus here, and you can change that a little bit, right? So you can see it adds a different class here or selector. So we could, we could take this one here and add that. Let me grab it. And we can add that here. And then I can make the background, let's just make it background color, and we'll do it black. And there we go. We've updated this here. So what you would do is you would grab this code and you would add that to the end of your CSS style sheet file. Alternatively, if you want to know how to edit the files directly, right? So maybe we don't want this. Let's go back in here and delete these. But maybe we want to actually change it in the file itself. So as we showed you earlier, the link here will take you to exactly where this style is applied in the file. So we can actually either edit it right here, or we can go to this. So it's style.css line 1975. So if you have this file on your computer, you can open it and use a Notepad++, for example, numbers each line. You can go directly to that line and edit it. If you want to do it live here, you can click on this and it'll actually take you to that line here. And so what I could do here is actually change that to be black. And then I know that I can update style.css on line 1976 to be exact, and I can change that color there. Let's reset that. So this really gives you the power to edit pretty much anything that you'd be able to edit with the branding file live in a browser and preview how it's going to look before you save it or upload it without having to edit the code, package the branding file, upload the branding file, save it, or apply it to the career section, and then preview it in the browser. So this really speeds up the development cycle with your branding file. And you can, now any of the changes that you make are not going to stay as you navigate, right? So if I go to this apply button here and go to a new page, it's going to load that page fresh. It's not going to keep any of your modifications. So keep that in mind. In certain cases, what I will do is I will actually go through and make changes to the files, save those down in my Notepad++ or wherever you're developing, and then I'll add those back in as I navigate from page to page to see how my edits impact other sections of the career section. So I hope that gives you a new way to edit the branding file and hopefully speeds up your development process significantly. And I hope you are able to create some pretty awesome branding files out there. All right, have a good day.